Alright boys and girls, welcome back to another Wuthering Waves video. So, we're going to be talking about whether it is free-to-play friendly, and none other than Braxophone himself. So if you have not done so, go ahead and subscribe to this man, like the channel. He does some incredible content, and he gives really sound advice. So I have no problems watching this and feeling confident that his advice is going to be solid. Now, this is based off of the CBT2, which is the closed beta testing 2. Of course, things can change when it goes live, but I plan to be a free-to-play player in this game, and I plan to make this as challenging as possible for myself to prove that this game is in fact free-to-play, and skill goes a long way. So I want to hear from the man Brax if in fact this is going to be exactly how this game plays out. So without further ado, I will be putting this video in the description. Of course, go and like the man's video. He does some really solid work for a lot of different gachas and has been blowing up, rightfully so. So let's go ahead, guys, jump into the video and see what he has to say about Wuthering Waves and whether it is going to be free-to-play friendly and not, and if so, why. Let's take a look.
To a god you don't believe in that she's free to play, and if so, I'll let you live in blissful ignorance. But on the topic of free to play, everyone's wondering about if Wuthering Waves is going to be a free to play friendly game on release. Gacha games have a horrific history of power creeping every single patch and making the main character in free to play cast useless towards the latter half of the game. Well,
so he's not wrong about that. He's not wrong about that. This is a very common thing. It's called the honeymoon phase. Every gacha game comes out and lets you look like the game is super free-to-play friendly, allowing you to progress through the story. And remember, there's no PvP in this. It's a PvE game, right? So it's you versus you. So at the end of the day, all you want to do is just compete against yourself, end the game, and hopefully do well. Now, most games will let you be very free-to-play friendly early on, but then the patches start coming out and things start getting a little bit dicey, right? And leaderboards, etc., all that stuff will make a difference and make people want to whale a little more. So let's see how this differs.
well, I'm here to deliver a child, and that child's name is Good News. In
there you go.
Gacha games that all have specific stat-based mechanics that require you to grind every single day, Wuthering Waves brings something brand new to the table: the actual skill expression. In Wuthering Waves, you have parries, perfect dodges, and QuickTime events that make the game feel more like a AAA combat experience than what you're probably used to with Gacha games.
Well, look at that. That makes me feel really happy, because we've come out of how many AAA style combat games now for gachas? One Punch Man World pretty much feels like a AAA combat game. There's all those mechanics in that. Solo Leveling Arise, all those mechanics in that. I played Punishing Grey Raven, all those mechanics exist in that. So this makes me feel really good knowing that this game has been up my alley for quite some time, and I'm going to be probably doing really damn well in it because of all the practice I've been having for every other game. So this is incredible news for someone like me who loves action RPGs.
But with that said, it's still a gacha game. There
Of course.
are still different characters, daily quests and rewards, stamina limits, gearing, and gameplay elements to think about. So first off, I want to talk about the characters, so that way you can get an idea of who's going to be smashed by a giant monkey. When you get started with Wuthering Waves, you get to choose between the classic isekai protagonist or the best looking female main character design in gacha.
So I know I said I'm going to do the male. I'm gonna go with female this time because she does look pretty damn incredible. And let's be real. I'm playing this game with eye candy. I'm gonna enjoy it.
Your free-to-play roster will consist of real protagonist, fake protagonist, Pokemon trainer, skill issue, midriff, and Discord mod. Sanhua is insane, is what I would say if I could see. Unfortunately, I have to play this game with my monitors off, so that way I can make the game more challenging. She's from the 7-day starting login event, and she's probably the 3rd or 4th best damage dealer in the game.
Oh, that's incredible.
With Dungeon coming out in 2nd place for highest 4-star damage, and Yinlin for the highest damage to my mental health. Rover is a solid damage dealer,
really want Yinlin, bro.
Unironically a good character, unlike 99% of gacha
Kalchura and Yinlin are my two main.
If you know what that means. The best way to describe Yang Yang is AoE grouping and faster ultimates for your team. And the second best way to describe her is girl that is incredibly fast for wearing a pencil skirt. Midriff is the epitome of American spirit.
You know that doesn't count.
But not only that,
doesn't matter.
She also has a gun. She'll make fights easier when you suck at close combat. Not that that will save you, since some of the bosses literally teleport to you. Discord mod may look cringe, but he's also cool if you can get past the fedora and if you're a Discord mod. And lastly,
I love Neo, so fedoras don't bother me.
Healing for you with her white lapras. Healing in this game is optional, since the only point of HP that matters is the one keeping you from beating God. Free-to-play cast is incredibly strong, but honestly, it doesn't even matter how much damage they do relative to each other, because the only game mode where DPS matters more than staying alive is the Tower of Adversity. This game mode
So Tower of Adversity is pretty much the same same thing every other game has. Any timed attack mode, right, where you fight bosses, waves, etc., and time matters. This is the same kind of concept.
Usually has a bunch of enemies to defeat in a certain time period, and if you don't meet it, you lose. It's a lot like the hologram boss fights if you didn't die from breathing in the wrong direction. The hologram boss fights are incredibly fun and test your ability to improvise, adapt, and overcome against a sequence of boss attacks and mechanics that only
I can't wait for this. This looks so good.
Level. To give you context, players have been able to beat the level 70 bosses since level 40 with a solo 4-star character. So that should give you an idea of how much skill plays into it. With the game being so based on your ability to parry, dodge, and pull off the right combo, it makes your...
So, first off, I want to go back for a second. Where is she? Players have been beat the highest level with solo characters as of making this, okay? And then this is the character he's referring to right here. Dungeon. She's apparently broken as hell as a 4-star character.
Idea of how much skill plays into it. With the game being so based on your ability to parry, dodge, and pull off the right combo, it makes your actual character roster feel like it doesn't matter as much as how good you are at the game. Well,
and I love that. I love that. That's great news.
To be massively overtuned. Don't tell the developers I said that though. Imagine a 4-star character that you get on a random 10 pull on the beginner banner being stronger than some of the 5 stars. Some people will argue that her HP cost is what makes playing her...
Oh. Sorry, Brax. Gonna skip
risky,
that.
And I would agree with that if everything in the game didn't already one-shot you.
And I hear this. Apparently everything one-shots you in this game, boss-wise.
Players, you not only have an insane free-to-play roster, but you also have other 4-stars in your corner that make it so you don't have to pull any 5 stars. Not that that's gonna stop you from pulling for her. And keep in mind, this is based off of Beta 2, and things could change from now to launch, but just knowing Kuro, I don't really think they would do that. If you do invest in strong characters and build them up, it'll definitely make the game easier though. To be honest, I'd be more worried if that wasn't really the case, but I don't think you have much to worry about. Because the game is skill-based, you don't have to be too reliant on RNG gearing systems to make it through most of the game, but that won't stop you from doing it anyways. The ecosystem, in my opinion, is one of the coolest systems.
Let's stop here for a second. So ecosystem, because we have a web event going on, I want to just quickly touch base on this. Ecosystem is not only a pet system, but also a system for your gear. This is your gear, essentially, right? So the more of this you get, the more of these you get, the more you're going to be able to level up your gear, aka your stats. You guys can see here. And the one thing I noticed, which Kuro Game actually does, it's one of the only companies I noticed that does this, it gives you a main stat plus the same sub stat, which is very rare to find in a game. So kudos to them for keeping this system. I love this.
Any gacha game, combining the idea of creature collectors with a post-apocalyptic setting to make the ultimate mix of fast-paced combat and down horrendous R34. When you defeat an enemy in the overworld, they can drop echoes, and these echoes have 2 main stats and a rarity
reason to go back and farm.
How well the stat actually scales. Your purple tier echoes are going to have higher stats and level caps than your green tier echoes. Now, aside from your drive to complete the national Pokédex, there's a good reason to collect them all. Some are locked to specific main stats, but the main reason to go for them is to enhance your druidic abilities. You can slot 1 main echo per character, and that lets you use its specific ability on command, allowing you to make your character builds more unique.
Which is really cool.
Due to how swapping in this game works, with a lot of echoes, you can still get their effects or damage whenever you swap off. It's like adding 3 more teammates to your team. For example, I can equip this monkey that I nicknamed Harambe, and when I swap mid-fight, he continues to smack the shit out of the boss. The way equipment works in this game is that you have 12 points to spend on echoes, and early on in the game you'll only have 10. And each echo costs a certain amount of points to equip. The cost to equip usually depends on the stats, and certain stats cost more than others. That said, the better stats are usually tied.
So what he said is pretty important, right? You get 10 in the beginning. So these costs here, the 4, the 3, the 1, you're gonna need to be very careful how you equip this. Eventually you'll get 12 out of 12, and you can equip probably an extra or a little higher tier echoes, but in the beginning 10 limits us obviously to having to combine some low tier versus high tier. So keep that in mind, obviously.
Tied to bosses, so in a way, it gives you a little bit of modularity, but can also make building characters, more confusing. There's 2-piece and 5-piece sets, and I really wish they were just 2 and 4.
Yeah, I don't understand the 5-piece set. I hate that. They should be 2 and 4. Yeah, 3 out of 5.
I don't know all the ins and outs of all the sets and stats of echoes. I do know that echoes are infinitely farmable. So if you're looking for a specific echo with the right set or main stat, you can run around your world, defeat all of the monsters, and then hop into co-op and defeat all of those too.
And I hear that's a big thing, doing the co-op to get more echoes.
You fall into the deepest depths of despair. Like in some other gacha games, your echoes have substats that can affect how powerful the echo actually is. Unfortunately, the substats are random, and there are more substat possibilities in this game than there are GNCs on Twitter. And you have to invest a bunch of resources into an echo before you can find out how strong that echo actually is. Now, on the bright side of that, you can pull out of an echo before investing too many resources, since if you don't hit the stat that you want in the first 2 rolls, you can just move to the next one.
And that's what you should be doing. That's the same thing as SLA with gear.
Spin on creating new and flexible combat abilities. But I do hope that if we can infinitely farm echoes, the team will add some new ways to roll substats that are less resource intensive. Right now, players who pay will have more opportunities to roll substats based on how much they're willing to refill their daily stamina, which at...
So that's because you can farm more of those echoes and essentially just keep, you know, leveling them up and hopefully get what you look at her.
This point is also a staple of gacha games. Also, please spawn more things in the overworld. The in-game Echo Gacha is hit or miss based off of your luck. But what about the in-game Gacha? One of the best things about free-to-play games is that you don't have to pay as long as you're in it for the long haul. I already spoke about how strong the free-to-play characters are in this game, but obviously since this is a gacha game, some of the coolest, hottest, most badass, hottest, strongest, hottest designs are going to be...
He's not wrong!
Characters. Are they achievable for free-to-play players? Well, I can't really promise how many pulls you'll get, but I can tell you about the gacha pity system. There are 4 banners in this game as of CBT2. Well, technically 5 if you count the beginner banner. The beginner banner is for new accounts, and it guarantees you get a standard 5-star character within 50 pulls. Pretty standard stuff. But it's worth knowing that this girl, right here, she's kind of busted, and if they don't dial her back for release, she's probably going to be your reroll target. You also have the standard banner, which has its own pull currency, separately from the limited and weapon banners. You also have a limited character banner with a pity of 80, but a 50-50 chance of getting the character you're pulling
50-50 is pretty standard
nowadays, and
yeah, exactly. It is absolutely standard. He's right.
It's definitely not as bad as it could be. I hope they do away with that for release, but right now that's what it is. What I'm really focused on, though, are the 2 other banners, the standard weapon banner and the limited weapon banner. The standard weapon banner has a hard pity of 80 and lets you choose a target to roll for, and that target is guaranteed when you roll a 5-star.
So I've heard that at level 45, though, they give you a free 5-star weapon. I don't know if that's going to be brought up.
That you can choose which weapon you actually get from the standard banner. But to be honest, knowing Kuro Game, I wouldn't be surprised if they just straight up gave us a 5-star weapon.
There it is.
Oh wait, I didn't mention that part, did I? When you hit rank 45, you get a free 5-star weapon in the beta, and I don't really see a reason for them to remove that from the live game. Because if you think about it, during a beta, you can either utilize the raw game experience or give them all the tools to experience the game, such as all the characters and high-level stuff. Since they're giving us the raw game experience in CBT2, it would be really strange of them to throw a free 5-star weapon at us at a high level if they weren't going to give us more things to test in the first place. So I'm a firm believer that the selector is staying in the game and that we can choose a free 5-star weapon. The limited weapon banner is also insanely good value in my opinion, since it has the same pity as the standard weapon banner. But unlike the limited character banner, it has a guarantee to give you the weapon you're rolling for.
Oh shit, okay.
I will be pulling on it from other. Oh, it is so tough being F2P. If you're like me, you've probably spent all of your college loans on 7 copies of Yinlin. You probably have a lot of the premium shop currency after you've done that too. And why would you keep it when you could use it to buy 2 more copies of Yinlin? You can buy
Yinlin looks so good, bro.
In the premium currency shop. So saving for your favorite characters' copies isn't actually that egregious and saves you a ton of premium currency. The fact that you can buy character copies in the shop is absolutely huge because any player, including free-to-play players, will eventually get to the point where
and Yinlin, bro. Those are the ones. I think they're the same element though, Electro.
You have the first copy of the characters, so you still will have to pull them, but the fact that you can get access to their higher level abilities as a result of getting extra copies of them is pretty cool. Now, at the end of the day, this game is a gacha game, and it's predatory in the same way that every other gacha game is. But at least compared to other gacha games and other gacha game companies, Kuro Game does have a very nice grasp on creating a free-to-play friendly environment that rewards players' time and effort. The ecosystem could be improved on to make it cost less resources to roll for substats, or make those
This is common. There's got to be gates somewhere. I bet you the ecosystem is this game's gate.
In the first place.
And the stamina, of course.
In the classic Kuro game fashion, people have been clearing insanely hard bosses on the second closed beta with the equivalent of a wet napkin. Combine that with
shout out to Rexland. We watched one of his videos, and I'm proven, and it's proven, right?
Cast, a skill-based game, and generous rewards, and things are looking pretty good for Wuthering Waves. So it's safe to say that Wuthering Waves is going to be pretty free-to-play friendly, unless you have skill issue.
So there you guys go. Thank you, Braxophone, for that amazing review. Super excited for this, guys. again, go check out his video. I will be putting it in the description. That pretty much sums it all for me. It's all skill based at the end of the day. Most of these characters at 4-star levels, etc. With the currency that's being provided from Kuro Games and the generosity from the banners and the simple pity, this game should be pretty damn free to play friendly. So with that being said, I will be doing a free to play account for sure. We're going to do this game together. I'm going to be doing a lot of live streams, doing a lot of guides for you guys, and hopefully we can keep everything as free to play friendly as possible going forward with Wuthering Waves. I'm super excited. May 22nd cannot come out fast enough. All right, guys, this is Payne. Hope you enjoyed the video. Again, thanks to Brax. I will be putting the video of his video in my description, so go like, subscribe to the man. Again, incredible content as usual. Thanks again, guys. Take care.